Welcome to another episode of Write and Shine, Shining Through Your Words author series. My name is Magriet Potgieter, and I'm the host of this incredible podcast, but also the honor of having incredible guests like the one joining me today. Karen, please introduce yourself and tell us more about what you do.
Sure. First of all, thank you for having me here. I am Karen Putz. I am known as the Passion Mentor. I help people unwrap the gift of passion in their life, especially in the second half of life, to create more fun, more joy, more adventure in their life. I am also deaf. I was born with normal hearing. I grew up hard of hearing. And at the age of 19, I was barefoot water skiing and I fell. And so when I climbed into the boat, I had become deaf. And as you can imagine, it was a very dark time in my life. I woke up one day and I thought, I don't have a choice. I need to embrace this.
Wow.
And that's basically what I did at that point. And that simple decision to embrace the journey just changed everything for me.
Wow. And it's so brave. I think, is this love? Or how do you say I love you? I know that one of my friends tried to teach me. Yes, love, yes.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I love your story and your journey, and I honor, what you've been through so much. And I can just imagine, being used to life a certain way and things are so fast paced. It's like you had to relearn how to communicate. Where did passion come in so strong for you here? Because I absolutely love that. Love that so much.
I think passion has always been there. Like after becoming deaf, I took up a passion for volleyball.
Yes.
And me and my husband, we traveled for 12 years playing volleyball. So that was a passion without me realizing what passion is.
Yes.
And then we ended up having three kids. The kids were teenagers. I was 44 years old. On my birthday, the day before, I tried to barefoot water ski. And my son was driving the boat. And I couldn't do it. So here I was thinking at 44, wow, life is over. I wish I had done these things when I was younger, when I could do
Yes.
them.
Yes.
And then my husband sent me a link to a Today Show. And on the Today Show was a 66-year-old woman barefoot water skiing, and she started when she was 53.
Oh.
Blew my mind. And it just reframed everything for me that, we can start over. We can reignite passion. And that moment of seeing that Today Show literally changed my life. It reframed midlife and beyond for me. So I got in touch with her, flew down to Florida, met Keith St. Onge, the two-time world barefoot champion, and
Wow.
he became a mentor. I ended up writing his book, and that started my writing career, and it's been nothing but passion since. A friend recommended a book called The Passion Test.
Yes.
And I read that book and I set an intention. I wanted to meet the author, Janet Atwood, and it just so happened that she was coming to Chicago. So I literally dropped a fundraiser that was supposed to happen that same night, and I went to meet Janet. And she became a mentor. She trained me, and I just started coaching people at that point. So that became a book called Unwrapping Your Passion. And it
That's
took me
amazing.
6 years to write that book.
Wow.
And
Well
Janet and
done.
another mentor, Deborah Poundman, wrote the foreword for that. Um, it's been quite a wild ride since then.
That is incredible. And Karen, you're the second person that I have an interview with in a short time that started living out their passion after their 50s, interestingly enough, because there's this stigma that life stops. I'm starting to prepare. My son is going into his own place. I'm becoming an empty nester. So I couldn't think of a more, suitable time to talk to you just to remind me what is my passion, and I do believe we are born with it. I don't think it's something that we're born, it's something inside us. How would you describe what is passion to you?
So I interviewed over 200 people for this book, and I asked them that question, what is passion? And I got 200 different definitions, but they basically all said the same thing. And one woman, they happened to be Keith St. Ange's mom, and she said to me, Karen, passion is your joy.
Yes.
It's the sense of who you are. It's like tap water. You got to turn it on and it starts running.
Wow.
Many of us don't turn on the tap. When we become adults, we get, let into this system. And the system is, to get a good job, pay your bills. When you retire, you can start having fun. So we push the message of safety, security, and,
Yes.
The grind culture. And as a result, many of us, we ignore that little nudge in our soul that says, we want this, but we're supposed to do this.
Yes.
So we ignore that. And we die inside.
Yes.
So passion allows us to reawaken our soul, reawaken what we want in life, and reawaken what's important to us. So when I think of passion, I think passion is that guide, that fuel that awakens us to life.
I couldn't resonate more. For me, I do agree. And I actually did a TEDx talk how trauma disconnects us from I call it zone of genius, but it definitely is your passion. If you think of what really makes you you, it's that passion that propels you, that gives you the courage to continue and that enjoyment, that fulfillment, and trauma, as well as the fear. It's very interesting, my interviews, Karen. It's like you can't make it up, because yesterday I interviewed the lady that started at 51 writing, and she's a fear. She talks about conquering your fear. And it's fascinating how all of these things basically build up almost to what is your passion, because you have to conquer your fear to live out your passion. I hope it makes sense.
That is so true because the only way around fear is right through it. And I'll
Yes.
give you an example. When I went down to Florida, I was really first very nervous about getting back on the water. I hadn't been on the water in over 20 years. And I'm standing at the dock, and I asked Keith, and I said, oh, wait a minute, are there alligators in this water? And he starts laughing, and it's a common question down in Florida, but I was from Illinois. And he laughs, and he goes, yeah, we have alligators in this water, but they won't bother you. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, that was a moment of truth for me. I am so deathly afraid of alligators. If there's one thing in
Wow.
my life that's terrifying to me is alligators. Here I am about to get in the water. And then I started imagining a 13-footer slithering under the water. And I'm like, oh, I can't do this. So right then and there, it was like passion, fear. Which one was I going to choose? And
Yes.
then I thought, well, if I die doing this, it's okay. In that moment, it was like you push it out and the passion wins. You
Wow.
decide to do the thing that you're most afraid of. And I got into those waters for years. I got to the point that I started making fun of my fear. And one of the local barefoot water skiers was a gator trapper. And
Wow.
so he trapped me one day and he said to me, we need to face this fear of yours. We're not going barefooting today. And we get in the car. I had my son with me, and it's like, oh, we're not going barefooting today. Guess what we did that day? He had a 10-foot alligator that he had just trapped, and he made me come up to it touch it and sit
What?
on it. To this day, when I think about that, I remember the fear trembling through my body. But here's why I did it. Here's why he forced it too, and I didn't realize it at the time. But I was life coaching people about fear, and he knew it. He knew it.
Yes.
He knew, and I knew that if I gave into the fear that day, he would be the one person in the world who would know that I was lying through my teeth about fear if I didn't get on that alligator. So I'm sitting there
Wow.
thinking, I have to do this because how am I going to coach anybody about fear if this person knows that I didn't face my fear this day? And so I sat on the alligator for, I don't know, 0.2 seconds, and I got off and called it a day.
Well done, but well done. And that is really, it's almost the question, is your fear bigger than your passion? I think that is ultimately the question. What is going to be the biggest, the passion or the fear? And maybe the fear is an indicator of you should go, you should ride the alligator. You should. It's maybe a new book
Fear
for
is a
you, Karen.
guidepost. It's exactly that. Fear is in front of you, and it
Yeah.
makes you ask the question, how much do you want this?
Exactly. That could be a new
Because if
book
you really,
title for
really
you.
stand in your truth,
Yes.
you will go through that fear. There's no way around it.
Absolutely. And the thing is, there's always the regret if you don't, the what ifs. You don't want to live with that. You don't want that if you don't.
It's so true. You get the end of your life and you look back, you're going to wish that you had done those things that you allowed fear to stop you at.
Exactly.
We don't regret the things we do as much as we regret the things we didn't do.
Agree. Agree. And it's amazing for me, people like yourself. I'm going to turn 50 soon, but it's such a beautiful for me. To see people like yourself, the other people I'm interviewing that's over 50. And it's like you just have this incredible new way of doing things. Being in South Africa, associating the age of 50. It was, when you're younger, you think, okay, then you're going to sit and you're going to knit or, cook the whole time. But it's like such an adventurous new time, and that's what I'm seeing the trend is. And Karen, for you, I want to ask you with that, who did you write your book for? Who's your ideal reader?
Wow, that is a good question. Nobody's really asked me that one in all these years. Wow. I wrote it for people who wake up in the morning and they feel that inside. And they wake up and they wonder, is this all there is? I'm just going to work to pay the bills so that I can live for the weekend and do a few things here and there. I wrote it for the people who are questioning why they do what they do, and they wake up one day and say, no, this is not the life I want to live for another 10, 20 years just to get to a point where I have enough money, time, freedom to do what I really want to do. We need to flip that upside down so that we're living life every minute,
Yes.
that we're alive, with intention, with joy, with passion, so
Yeah.
that we're doing things where we get to the end of the life, we can say, that was a good life.
Well, is it
That's who I wrote it
Sinatra?
for.
Sinatra sings I Did It My Way. It's for people to say that.
Yes, yes, yes.
But it's beautiful, Karen. And I think there's so many people in need of your book. And just thank you for being so brave for writing it and taking 6 years. It's a long time. If anyone that tuned in now is thinking they feel, lost in their own story, they feel hopeless, passionless, they don't even know where to start. What advice would you give them right now on that couch where they're checking you out now?
I would tell you go grab some of my free books from my website. That would be number one. I mean, I put everything in there that I have learned all along. But I think, the one thing is know yourself. Know yourself. Spend some time looking deep into your soul and ask yourself, how do I want to live? I think that's my best advice to people. Slow it down and really know yourself. You will discover that you've always wanted to do this, or that, you've been squashing down some of your dreams, or you want to be authentically you.
Yes.
That's what I would say.
Beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. And my last question to you, I don't want this to end, is maybe you should come back for another episode as well, that we can dive into more
Sure.
tips, because passion is something we don't talk enough about. So I would really love to have you back, to talk more about, the coaching skills that you give for someone to basically help them realize what can they do to get to know themselves and move into a life of passion? Because it's not something I remember going through very tough times in my life where I was so numb through trauma, through circumstances, that it took me many years to remember who I am. And that's where the game changed, if you look at those quotes. So I would absolutely love to have you back, to talk more about how to practice that muscle we call passion.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think trauma is a key thing for us because a lot of times it becomes the big barrier. But
Yes,
what I do tell people is that you can spin whatever story you want out of your trauma.
yes,
Like for me becoming deaf, it could have been the oh poor me, woe is me thing if I kept embracing that trauma over
yes,
and over and over and looking back. And so I love helping people reframe what trauma is. It
yes.
shapes you, but it doesn't have to define you. And that's the beautiful thing.
I
That's
love
how
that.
we take it. It becomes our story, but it doesn't own us.
Well, I love that. I'm actually writing a children's book at the moment about labels that we put on ourselves, and passion is actually also
Oh,
a
I
part of
love
the
it.
golden thread. So I can't wait to share that with you
That's
personally.
awesome.
Because it is like you go through life through in certain ways, also a victim, and we do have reason to be a victim, but for me, the switch comes where you pick up your pen. And that's why I'm so passionate about this podcast and meeting incredible, brave people like yourself, because it takes courage. It really does. Because it's easy to stay in the victim energy almost. But the courage starts when you pick up your pen, and
Yes.
even not only just picking up, but 6 years later to still work. It's a work in progress. I think we underestimate the journey of the book. And that's why I love this behind the scenes stories of you writing your book. And I want to ask you, what is the highlight since you published your book? What is your personal highlight for you so far?
Oh my gosh. There's been so many. I have what I call a life list. And
Wow.
I've been able to really check off so many things from the life list because of awakening to passion. There's so many. I think the biggest thing for me was, and my gosh, it's all of it, really, if I think about it. I've written 24 books since then. And I've got 5 more in my mind that I'm working on right now. My husband traveled, he retired, so we have a little more time freedom now. And just being able to get up each day and just do things that are enjoyable. I
I
think that's the big thing.
Oh, that is incredible. And I actually also say, it's like the travel bug when the writing bug hits you, like you can't stop. I'm also A bookworm. I actually said yesterday on an interview, I wasn't your girl, like the girly girl that played with dolls. I had a library when I was growing up. So I was like with a stamp.
So did I.
So we would have been friends. I would have invited you to my library. And also
Oh, totally.
reading to my dolls, the poor things had to had a
You
book.
would have been in one corner, I would have been in the other. You'd be occasionally look up.
You could have gone in there, like you could have had your own little section. If they're tired of your section, they can come to me and join mine.
What
We
part
were
of
quite
South Africa are
a
you from?
the what?
What part of South Africa are you from?
I'm in Cape Town, in Stellenbosch.
Okay, so me and my son, I mentioned a family
Oh,
from Durban.
wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was just a 1 hour phone call, and I mentioned them. We became friends, and so I got to go to South Africa on a speaking gig and stayed with this family for a week. So my son and I had so many adventures. We went on a safari. My son got to bungee jump. We went to a cheetah
Amazing.
farm. There was so many, yeah, there was so many things because I had written down on my life list, I wanted to see a safari.
Oh, wow. That is brilliant.
Yeah, it was amazing.
I'm on my way to a client to Botswana for a whole week, and I'm going to do PR and some nonprofit work for them. But the safari is incredible. We're very, very blessed, and it's a very passionate country we live in. So I can imagine that you really enjoyed visiting here, and I hope you come and visit us
Beautiful.
again soon.
Yes, now I have another reason to go.
Definitely. Karen, if anyone wants to connect with you or buy your books or even, get some of the free resources that you mentioned, how can they reach out to you?
You can go to my website, yourpassionschool.com. I have freebies that you can download. You can get the books on Amazon if you look up my name. I'm always happy to offer 30 minutes of free coaching.
Wow.
And I believe in this so much. I will sit down and in 30 minutes, I will help you pinpoint at least one passion in 30 minutes.
That is amazing. And I will absolutely also encourage, everyone in this community to definitely, especially during December, before we move into the new year, is actually a very good time just to take stock. Where are you on your passion radar? I like that.
Yes, yes, yes.
Because
I
it's
love that.
exactly. And for me, I can absolutely say personally, since I've really tapped into my passion, creativity, I feel so much happier as a human. I feel every day I've got a purpose because I am living out my passion. Interestingly enough, that it's linked to each other.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I
Oh,
love when that happens because you come awake, you come alive.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And Karen, please come and visit me again to talk more about this, more, ways that we
Okay,
can tap into our
we'll
passion.
put it
That
on
would
our
be
life list. And
fantastic.
you're always welcome to come and see me in New York.
I would love
We
that.
don't have safaris here, but we have Great Lakes.
And alligators.
Not in New York, thank goodness.
I would absolutely love that. Thank you so much for joining me. And I just honor your story, your courage, and also your passion. And thank you for making such a difference in the world through sharing your story.
Thank you for having me.
Such an honor. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. Today, my incredible guest is Karen, all the way from New York. And what a gentle, beautiful reminder that our passion is so, so needed to propel us into our destinies and to live fulfilled lives. And I just want to really encourage you if you are out there feeling a bit lost, feeling lonely, feeling almost that you don't know where to go. Just know this is why we do what we do, sharing our stories to provide you a type of blueprint and hope to tell you if we can do it, you can absolutely do it too. Incredible people like Karen is out there sharing her story, sharing a blueprint that she's created to help you find your passion if you feel you've lost it along the way. Thank you so much for tuning in. Keep on writing and keep on shining.
Just watch me shine.